I think GNOME might have found a good use for GitHub. So GNOME, like most large-scale FOSS projects, whether that be KDE, the Linux kernel, and a bunch of others, have their own development infrastructure. Notably, for what we're talking about today, the GNOME GitLab. So you've probably seen more and more websites, especially websites in the FOSS space, adopting a project called Anubis. Weigh the souls of incoming HTTP requests to protect your website. This is basically a bot detection and bot deterrent tool. It helps to protect your website from aggressive AI scraping. Now, web scraping in general isn't necessarily a problem. It's how search engines function, and it's been the way we've done things for a really, really long time now. The difference with a lot of these AI companies is they have absolutely no respect for the infrastructure their company relies on and scrape way too aggressively and way too frequently. This leads to a rise in hosting costs, and when we're talking about an open source project, this comes directly out of the donations that could go to paying for development and other things you actually care about that isn't just making sure that things function. And last week, some GNOME users and developers noticed what, at least at face value, seemed like a problem. All clones from GitLab redirecting to GitHub. I'm not sure where else to ask. It seems as of recently, all my scripts that check at GNOME's GitLab, like checking out Mutter from the GitLab, redirect over to GitHub. And also for a lot of other repositories. Was this a choice that was made to reduce traffic to GNOME's GitLab? Do I need to update my scripts? But it's not actually a problem at this point. It hadn't actually been mentioned anywhere. There was no documentation saying that this was being done. So of course, there were going to be other people that report this as a problem. GitLab.gnome.org redirecting to github.com. Steps to reproduce. Let's actually go and test that. What we should be seeing is warning redirecting over to this right here. Here's the command. Let's go and run it. And there we go. We see it, warning redirecting over to the GitHub. Rather than pulling the code from the GNOME GitLab, which is the place you're requesting the code from, it's actually pulling the code from a different repo over on GitHub. So, is this a bug? Was there maybe some takeover of the GNOME GitLab? Is something malicious happening here? No, not at all. This is entirely done on purpose. What it is linking to is the GNOME GitHub mirror. This is an official clone of the GNOME GitLab. Basically, everything that happens on this GitLab is also replicated over on the GitHub. This is not a new mirror. This has been here for I don't know how many years. Someone could probably answer that. And it's also not unique. KDE does the exact same thing. This is an official mirror of the KDE project. This is not where any development is done, but it is available here. And of course, the Linux kernel mirror. Why do this? Well, GitHub doesn't charge you for hosting. Now, they make that money back in other ways, but they don't directly charge you for hosting. So if all you want is a backup of the project on the off chance that maybe something bad happens, maybe your infrastructure is down for the day and people still want to do development, maybe somehow everything gets deleted and nobody has a local copy. Well, there's a copy right here, and now everything is saved. Logically, it makes sense to have some form of backup, whether that be a backup on GitHub, whether that be a backup in some other way. A lot of projects opt for GitHub because it's convenient. It's not charging you anything, and it's pretty easy to set up. So if all you want to do is clone the work, hey, it's right there. But GNOME now has another use for it. Under the first issue, yes, this is a cost-saving measure due to the amount of traffic. If you have more specific questions, reach out over here. And that is where the second one was posted, and that is where we have some further feedback. This change was required due to the significant data transfer costs we are incurring. We applied a set of potential mitigations and will monitor costs during February. It is now March. If these won't be enough, we'll apply a set of additional changes, which hopefully will bring the aforementioned cost down and allow us to remove the HTTPS pull redirect between gitlab.gnome.org and GitHub. When we're talking about traditional web scraping that is just looking at the content of the site, looking at these issues and bringing that stuff in, yes, obviously that is going to add some additional cost. But when we are talking about pulling an entire Git repo, pulling every Git repo, doing that constantly, and then a bunch of different AI companies all doing the exact same thing, that cost starts adding up really, really, really quickly. And anyone running a system like this is going to tell you how much of a mess this is. Now, due to this being a completely undocumented change and obviously confusing people that ran across it, this was included in the latest entry of This Week in GNOME. Near the bottom of it, but still, in This Week in GNOME, right here, second from the bottom. As a cost-saving measure, Git traffic like git clone is now redirected to our mirror under GitHub. Now, someone might say, oh, well, why even bother with a solution like this? Isn't that the point of donations? Now, I sort of touched on this earlier, but the point of donations, yes, are to pay for hosting, are to pay for infrastructure, and are to keep the project running. But that was true under the normal societal contract that we had until about 3 or so years ago. We can look at countless examples of AI scrapers basically just shooting hosting costs of anything they touch through the roof with zero respect for anything else out on the internet because the AI must consume everything. And for a project like GNOME, which frankly has not been in the healthiest of states over the past couple of years, that kind of additional cost is not something that they really want to have to deal with. Now, obviously, by the fact that this is happening on the GNOME GitLab, what I'm about to say is obviously not true, but there is this idea that floats around that if you're not on GitHub, not on Twitter, not on Facebook, not on Instagram, or any of these other big platforms which are known to be spending a lot of money on AI tooling themselves, that the thing that you produce, whether it be code, whether it be art, or anything else, that's going to be safe from the all-encompassing AI machine. Oh, if I post on Mastodon, well, my stuff is not going to be in the AI. If I post on this art website or that art website, if I post music here or there, that somehow is not going to be consumed by the machine, that couldn't be further from the truth. People used to say, the internet never forgets. Maybe it's more accurate to say now that you can't hide on the internet. If something is publicly accessible, it's gonna be consumed by the AI. And right now, at least, copyright and IP law just doesn't exist, is not being enforced if you call yourself an AI company, if you're running some big LLM, some big AI data center. If you want to make sure that something is not included in the AI, don't put it online. Simple as that. If it exists publicly, you're not going to stop it. No license you put on it is going to stop the AI companies from going and consuming it. They're already consuming GPL code and mixing it in ways that is not at all legal. No license you use is going to change anything. With all of that being said, if GNOME is having hosting problems for the GitLab, if GNOME is having funding problems, offloading some of that over to GitHub, if that makes it easier for them, more power to them. And if it goes well, I could imagine other projects doing a very similar thing. KDE already has the mirror set up, so doing it on their side would basically be as easy. But what do you think? You know what? It's nice to be able to talk about GNOME and it actually be a positive thing for once. It is a rare situation. But anyway, do you think it's a good idea? Did you even notice this was happening? Do you think other projects should do the same? I'd love to know. So, if you liked the video, go like the video, go subscribe as well, and if you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon subscribe /BarrowPay linked in the description down below. That's gonna be it for me, and honestly, seems like a no-brainer.
something like this.